Hey everybody, my name is Dylan Patey, and this is my 1994 Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4.
So I just walk in. It's 2 days later, by the way, from when I stopped working the other day. This is really satisfying to look at. Like, it's dirty and it's a mess, but I mean, it's slowly getting cleaned up. So it's the wins. We are slowly making progress. So today, this time for real, I'm going to try to get the axles out. Maybe the drive shaft. Yeah, because I need to drop that subframe, get into the rust that is under the frame of the car right in there, and then get it off of the subframe as well. So let's do it to it. All right, so the problem I ran into the other day was I stuck the socket on there and I tried to spin it, and then obviously the whole hub spun, so that wasn't gonna get me anywhere. So today we're gonna try with a little more force. Got this earthquake. So if this doesn't get it off, I'm gonna stick a crowbar in here, set it on the lug nut so I don't damage any threads. But see if this takes care of it. Yeah, like it was nothing. Alright, so now what I gotta do is pound it out of here. I'm gonna get that stool out of there so I don't actually tear something. Oh, unless it just pulls out. I was expecting to need to fight that a little more than I just did. We take those. I was gonna need a hammer. That's a thumbs up, boys. Let's go do the other side and hope it goes as easy. All right, and that one's out. Gave me a little bit more trouble. It was a bit of an older one, but like I said, I just stuck the nut back on it and smacked it with a rubber hammer and it came out no problem. Again, torn boot. Blech. Gross. The rest of the boot is in fact just still sitting here in the transmission. So I'm gonna get a pry bar and pry it out. Which, by the way, the user manual says pry it out. So I'm gonna pry it out. More violent than I thought it was gonna be. If you look at these splines, they actually look really nice. Come on, focus. Look at that. Look at how good those splines look. This car has run so well. It's amazing. All right, so I'm looking at how I'm gonna drop this subframe. Obviously, my steering rack's connected to it, which is connected up here to my hub. I think I'm gonna hook my lower control arm back up. I'm gonna go ahead and hook that back up so it's not flopping and dangling just on his ball joint. Then we're gonna take off the front sway bar. Just get it disconnected now so it's out of the way. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead, mark my camber bolts. Always mark your camber bolts. I think I'm gonna pull the hubs off of the strut so I don't have to try to line them up back later. And then disconnect all the brake lines, the ABS lines. Do that on both sides, and I think it should be good to drop. Alrighty, just mark your camber bolts for when you go to reinstall it. That way your alignment is somewhat close. Take these off and stick your jack on its subframe and drop it. It's easier said than done, that's for sure. All right, so here's kind of where we're at. The rack and pinion are, they're not wanting to really separate very easily, and I don't want to damage it. So I've got the subframe lowered enough to where I can easily get in there with the flap wheel and take off all the rust. And then I think from there, I'm pretty much ready to paint the engine bay. I'll take out all the miscellaneous nuts and bolts. I'll see about that clutch fluid reservoir. Maybe I'll take that out, maybe I won't, depending on how labor intensive it is. But then it's a whole bunch of masking. But yeah, for now it's just grinding that down. I'm not gonna film it because my phone is just about out of storage. It's boring to watch. Well, I'm a mess. I am completely covered in metal shavings and rust. But you know what? Here it is. Most of the rust is gone. I've got it all. There are a couple parts where I can't get a tool in there, so I'll have to do it by hand. But for the most part, it's done. And obviously you can see I did go out further than what the rust was fully showing, just in case it was hiding under the paint. So I got down in there, I got under, I started going around the whole engine bay, just starting to clean up any paint that was bubbling or flaking, any rust spots. But yeah, that giant rust spot is gone. That is one step closer to painting the engine bay. All right, everybody, so here's where we're at. I went ahead and did a handful of sanding off camera, just so you guys aren't watching me sand for an entire video. So I took care of the main points of rust. I went ahead and took care of the subframe as well. I've gone around, cleaned up all the tiny bits of rust all around the entire engine bay. So now what we have to do is clean it so that the paint will stick and it's not trying to stick to dust and then just fall off. So I've got Scotch-Brite pads and degreaser. I'm gonna spray down with the degreaser and then scrub with the Scotch-Brite so that not only is it brushing off grease and like taking it off the surface, but then I'm also scuffing the surface at the same time so that the paint can really get a good bond to it. So we're gonna go ahead and clean the engine bay and get it ready for paint. Okay, here we go. Engine bay is cleaned up. I'd say it's ready for paint. So next up, gotta mask off everything I can, and then we shall paint it. All right, everybody, today's a special day. We're finally painting the engine bay, and I got my boy here. I got my boy, Big Daddy Nick. And holding the camera, I've got Andy. If you want to introduce yourself again.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Okay. Engine bay is sanded. It is wiped down and cleaned with alcohol. We are now masking up. We're gonna mask off the entire car and everything around us. We're gonna mask the floor. We'll set up a fan, open the door. We'll make sure we get some airflow going out. And we're gonna paint the engine bay orange. Bright orange, because that's what Instagram wanted. I did a poll, by the way. Follow me on Instagram at PateyVR4. And most of you guys, if you are following me on there, wanted orange. So I'm gonna do orange. I think it'll look cool. So yeah.
Hey, bring the camera over here real quick. This is what we're gonna try and replicate. See, we want to, in 5 years, be able to flake the paint off by hand. That is the goal for today.
Make it exactly like that. All right, everybody. I have got my car taped up and draped as much as I can. I'm not going to worry about the fasteners because I can't be bothered to take them all out and then find their original spot.
I'll take out all the miscellaneous nuts and bolts.
So we're just going to leave it and paint over them. As you can see, I've got some loom exposed. Not worried about it because I'm re-looming the wire harness. But all the important connectors and everything has been taped up, draped over the floor, because Dad, I know you're watching, don't want to paint over the floor, and my friends are draping over the plane wings. Anyway, so I'm about to take some spray paint and cover over just like the rest of that rust with this paint that's supposedly gonna stop the rust from spreading and expanding and whatnot, so that'll be nice. Yeah, so let's paint the engine bay. All right, everybody. We have got a primed engine bay. Thanks to my great friends. As you can see down there, oh, I missed a spot, but I hit it with the rust protectant, and now all that rust should be no more. So I'm gonna go ahead, hit that spot, and then I have got 2 cans of Chevy orange. So that's what we will paint the engine bay. All right, here we are, everybody. Orange engine bay. I'm gonna have to run back to the store and get 2 more cans of paint, at least. Because foolish old me thought 2 cans was gonna be enough to get a couple coats on here. Yeah, no, it took 2 cans to get 1 coat on the whole engine bay. So I'll have to go again tomorrow and then we'll hit it all with clear coat. But here we are. Freaking good. Hey everybody, couple things before we continue painting the engine bay. I got more paint, everything's good there. First thing you'll notice, the wire harness was hanging up. Apparently not very well. Oh boy, the timing on that one. Okay, wire harness is hanging better now. And that's because I got square brain and I didn't think of using the crane that I used to pull the engine out to just lift the wire harness up and out of the way. Second, I posted a picture of my progress so far to one of my 3000 GT Facebook groups, and I got a really good question, so I just wanted to address it. He said, why not just pull the rest of the engine bay out, like the subframe, the rest of these odds and ends? And honestly, not the biggest reasons. So the main reason why I didn't really pull the rest of the engine bay out. So I did try to pull the subframe out. That was the original goal for taking care of the rust spot, taking care of the rust on the subframe. But when it came time to disconnect the steering rack from the steering column, they didn't really want to separate. So I didn't want to risk breaking it, because anymore and I'd start forcing things, I'd break something. So I just didn't want to do that. So I stayed on the safe side and I just left it in there. It's what I gotta do. As for like the rest of the wire harness and like the fuse box, I just couldn't figure out how to get it out. The wire harness runs between the frame and the fenders, and I didn't want to deal with all that. Alright everybody, before I turn you around to show you my freshly painted engine bay, which looks just so much better than I could have imagined, I just want to say thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. I'll see you later.